Hi there, I'm Lucy, and this is Girl in Gallery. Today, we're in Angel, Islington at the Moosey Gallery touring Hiroshima Shinkichi's exhibit, Sign. Let's take a look around. Shinkichi is a Japanese artist that lives and works just outside of Tokyo. And what I think makes his painting so special is that he paints with a combination of airbrush and hand painted and uses acrylic paint to do this. And it creates this really dynamic and deep juxtaposition between the airiness of the airbrush and then the very specific detail of the hand painting. Come look at this. For example, in this painting right here, if you look at the policeman's mask, it's fuzzy, I don't want to say blurry because it's very specific, but it is kind of blurry. Everything around him, his outfit, it's very intentionally fuzzy. It looks like you've defocused your eyes almost, but if you come in close here by this little girl's face, you can see it's much more detailed. It looks a bit more chunky, you know? Like when you look at thick lines of paint, you see those chunks, which I love that. And you can tell that your eye is meant to go straight there because it's the thing that's in focus. It's kind of like when you're watching a movie and it zooms in on one thing, everything around it is blurry, but your eye is drawn to the thing that makes the most sense, the thing that your brain doesn't have to fill in. And that's what has this cool little spark of magic about his paintings. In Shinkichi's paintings, he uses a lot of bold, bright colors, which naturally we think of as happy. But when you look a little bit closer and you put the pieces together a little bit more, it's not always the most joyful, exciting, happy-go-lucky kind of painting. And another thing that he does that's really cool is he likes to start in the middle of the action. So come see this over here. So this painting is called Nice Catch. And there's a term in literature called in media res, and it translates to in the middle of things. And that's what he's kind of doing here. You know there's a story going on, you know there's something happening, it's a scene, right? But you're blasted right into the middle of it. And some are really obvious to put the story together, like this one. Because if you look in the foreground, what are we looking at? A woman that's clearly thrown herself on the ground, but what is she holding? A bouquet of flowers. There's a bunch of other women running after her, but then when you look up here, there's a bride stood with her arms in the air, and there's a church. So you can kind of put the pieces together that this is the bouquet toss at a wedding, and this girl really wants to get married. Other paintings that have this in media res type of idea are a little bit trickier to put the pieces together. So this painting over here is called Eve. And the first things that we see are a big hand and some burglar's face. But what are the burglars doing? So this is the fun part about looking at a painting when you don't really understand the story yet. It's putting the pieces together, kind of figuring it out. And I think that's what's so great about this artist is his purpose is to get you to do that, right? It's exciting. Why do you think a burglar is holding a little Santa next to a cake in a fridge? Usually a burglar will come into a house and go for your laptop, your diamond ring, your TV, your safe, whatever. But they've gone for a Santa in the fridge. Why? Maybe, I don't know, it has some kind of secret code on it. Maybe it's a Fabergé Santa, has some kind of value. We don't know. And we have to put all these pieces together and come up with our own story. And that's what's so cool is because everyone that sees this painting might have a different story. And I'd actually like to know what you think. So if you have a good idea of what story could be going on here with this painting Eve, drop it in the comments down below. Touching on the notion that Shinkichi does about having these bright colors, but an underlying not so bright meaning is this painting right here. It's called Jumper. And now you can see that there's a woman's hands, you can see her eyes in the steering wheel. It's a very dynamic painting. There's a lot of movement, a lot going on. It really catches your eye. When you look a little closer, there's a cat stretched out over the windowsill. But that's not all. There's something about this painting that kind of makes you feel a little uneasy. There's something off that maybe your eye doesn't immediately go to. But I'm gonna give you a clue. Where's the road and where's the sky? They're flipped. This is the yellow line down the middle of the road and the sky, and there's the grass over here. So this car is quite literally flipped over, and that makes sense as to why this woman looks like she's screaming and her hair is going upwards. Why is the cat there? It goes back to this whole story that he's trying to get us to put together of what's happened, why is it going on? But that's the fun part. You get to make up your own journey with the painting. Another great painting in this exhibit is this one behind me, and it's called Regret. Now, before I tell you, I want you to guess maybe why it's called Regret, or look at the pieces for a second and see what you see. First thing that jumps out at us is this smashed up screen right here. You may be wondering why. There's clues to tell you what's going on, right? Look at his knuckles. They're red and a little beaten up, right? This says KO'd. I don't know too much about video games, but I know that's not a good thing. And his body language, he's slouched over, right? He's clearly not that happy. Put the pieces together with it being called Regret. He's probably regretting the fact that he lost a game and punched a hole through a screen, right? But you can almost feel this painting, especially when you add in the name, that it paints this whole picture. It really wraps it up, and you can resonate more with it when you have those little clues. And I guess even the name of a painting sometimes is a clue from the artist as to what it means, right? But I just think that this painting, especially the size of it and the graphicness of it, mixed with the fact that there's video games and the graphic thing, it just wraps up so well together. It really is one of my favorite paintings in the show. Touching on the artist's skill of fine hand painting, we have this set of paintings just over here. Now, when I saw these online and I was looking at the catalog, I was actually expecting them to be a lot bigger. So I think it's cool the way the gallery has curated them and putting them all together. And you can see the fine details, and it is a bit of a contrast from the other very colorful graphic paintings that are kind of almost shrouded in this bright electric colors, but these have a tone that makes more sense with the tone of the paintings, of having that kind of underlying uneasiness, right? Like, she's clearly upset, cat's mouth, bit creepy, building on fire. It's more obvious, but at the same time, it isn't too over the top. It still works, and I think it's cool as well of how this is a small painting, right? And you see all the fine details in the other paintings. He has just like, where is it? This one over here, come with me. Like we showed you earlier with the little girl's face, it's about the same size. So I think it's cool that you can almost imagine these paintings over here kind of being a puzzle piece that pops into the other paintings and gives it that kind of whirlwind, exciting feeling with that little bit of detail to draw your eye to what's really going on. And that wraps up our tour of Sign by Hiroshima Shinkichi. I want to thank the Moosey Gallery for welcoming us in today, and I definitely recommend you check this out because there's a few pieces I left out for you to be surprised by. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop them down below, and remember to like and subscribe for more Girl in Gallery.